So I recently went to a car dealership to buy a car. Yes, I was there to potentially buy a car. And folks, I spent a couple hours at that dealership and discovered a treasure trove of shenanigans. But one of them was so egregious, so outrageously overpriced that I just couldn't wait to share it with you. Now we're talking about VIN etching, not Vin Diesel, VIN etching. Now you might be wondering, what the hell is VIN etching? Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of that. And I'm also going to explain why calling it a scam might actually be too harsh of a word, but it's definitely a racket. It's exploitive. It's designed to confuse you and extract money from your wallet while providing you no real value. Let me give you an analogy. You know those gotcha TV news magazine shows, the one where they'll break something on your garage door, something that costs $30 to fix, and then send in some hidden cameras to see which different repair people charge. Some people charge the $30 and fix it. Some will say it's $700, and then others will tell you that you've got to replace the whole damn door. Here's the thing. If that guy charges $700 and your garage door actually gets fixed, but he replaced a bunch of stuff that didn't really need replacing, is that really a scam? You asked for your garage door to be fixed, and it's fixed. It's overkill, it's exploitive, and maybe it's a sign of incompetence, but is it illegal? I don't necessarily think so. That's kind of where I put VIN etching. It's in this gray area. It's not like they're lying to you or selling you something they're not actually doing. No, they're doing it, but are they selling it to you at a price that's completely divorced from its actual value? Yes, absolutely. And that's what makes it feel like a scam, even if it technically isn't one. Let me walk you through what happened to me at this dealership. I'm looking at this car, right? And they come back with the final price. And the final price is $10,000 over MSRP. $10,000. And buried in that price was this line item that just jumped off the page of me. $1,275 for VIN etching. And I'm standing there thinking, this has got to be the modern version of undercoating. This is the new rust protection, the new clear coat protection. You know, the services from the past where they probably didn't do anything and there was no way for you to ever really verify it, but you had to get charged for it anyway. Well, VIN etching is the legitimized modern version of that scam. So what is VIN etching? It's actually pretty simple. VIN etching is when you take your car's vehicle identification number, the VIN, that unique 17-character code that identifies your specific vehicle, and you etch it into certain parts of the car. Usually the windshield, the back window, sometimes the frame if your car is a separate frame, or even the catalytic converter these days. Damn thieves. And you can do this in a bunch of ways. Hell, you could probably take a nail and scratch your VIN into your glass or your catalytic converter if you wanted to, but the professional way to do it is using either a stencil with etching cream, kind of like an acid, or a handheld laser engraver. The theory behind this is if your car gets stolen and the thief wants to resell it, they're going to have to deal with that VIN number etched right there on the windows. They can't just rip off the VIN plate from the dashboard and slap on a new one. They'd have to replace all your glass, which would be expensive and time-consuming. So supposedly this deters theft. Now, does it actually work? Personally, I think it's kind of dumb. Because if I'm a car thief and I'm going to go to the trouble of stealing your car and swapping out VIN plates, why wouldn't I just replace your windshield with a $50 piece of glass that I got from the junkyard too? If I'm already committing grand theft auto, I'm probably not too worried about swapping out some glass as well. And that's the thing, on most normal cars, VIN etching is obvious. It's easily removable. It's a security benefit that is massively oversold. Now, I grant you this. VIN etching probably made more sense back in the day when you could etch it somewhere that's really hard to find, like if you had a rare Ferrari and you secretly etched the VIN underneath the passenger seat rail or somewhere obscure. Then yeah, maybe you have that gotcha moment if the car got stolen. But on a Honda Civic or a Toyota Highlander where the VIN is etched right there on the windshield for everyone to see, come on, I doubt it does anything. But according to automotive security expert Christopher Schoten, thieves looking to steal cars for parts are rarely deterred by VIN etching. And think about it, cars are typically stolen for 3 reasons. 1, joyriding, and trust me, a joyrider doesn't care if your windows are etched. 2, chop shops, where they're interested in powertrains, rims, tires, battery panels. There's not a big market for glass with a VIN etched on it. And 3, shipping the car abroad, where the new owner in another country won't really give a rip if your VIN number is etched on the glass. So the effectiveness is questionable at best. But here's where it becomes a real racket for the car dealership. When they presented that $1,275 charge to me, the dealership told me that the automaker requires them to do this. They have no choice. that as soon as the car rolls into the dealership, they have to etch the VIN. It's mandatory, they said, or they would lose their franchise license. Let me assure you, it is not. Because if it was required by the automaker, they would do it at the factory. That would be the easiest place to do it. Add another 6 seconds to the assembly line time and have the VIN etched right there. Why would they distribute this mandatory task to thousands of shady dealerships across the globe? And maybe they don't do it. And then what? Your whole policy is violated and what, you're going to stop selling cars? No, they're not. It doesn't make any sense. So no, it is not required by the automaker. Otherwise, the automaker would do it. Now, do dealerships actually etch the VIN as soon as the car arrives? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they want to be able to say, sorry, it's already been done. We can't take it off. You have to pay for it. And that's the real scam. If you're a private consumer and you go to an independent business or a body shop to have VIN etching done, it's going to cost you anywhere from $20 to $100, maybe $150 at the high end. And the reason it costs that little is because it takes about 4 minutes to do, because I've actually done it before. You print out these little stencils. They look like they're on drywall tape. It basically cuts out a little stencil of the VIN number. Sometimes it even cuts out the automaker logo. And then it's just like a little bit of silk screening painting on a shirt. You just put that tape where you want to etch the VIN. You paint a little bit of this etching acid on it, almost like painting a fingernail. You wait a few minutes, you clean it off. That's it. The manual labor is minimal. In fact, this would probably make a great side hustle because it's so easy to do. Some people I've seen have just a little handheld laser gun. They press it onto the body panel or muffler or whatever, and it goes zip, 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 etches the VIN in seconds. Now, if you're looking at the actual cost of this from a business perspective, the materials, the little piece of tape, and the spritz of etching acid, it costs anywhere from $1 to $5, not including labor. $1. According to current market data, you can buy a DIY VIN etching kit on Amazon for as little as $10. Some police departments even offer free VIN etching. And yet, dealerships are charging anywhere from $200 to get this over $1,000, amazingly. And in my research for this episode, I found people complaining that some dealers have the audacity to charge $700, $900 for VIN etching. And I'm sitting there thinking, $900? That's criminal. But wait, I just was quoted $1,275 for it. $300 more than they were for something that costs a few bucks in materials and time. So why do dealers do this? Well, it's virtually free for them. They have the kits. They do every car on the lot before lunch. Some lackey can knock out 20 cars in the morning. And then they throw this huge line item on your purchase agreement and you have to fight against it. And eventually, if you fight hard enough, they'll say, all right, we'll knock off $1,000. We'll only charge you $275 for the VIN etching. Or maybe they'll eat the whole thing. And you'll feel so good about yourself for beating them down on this $1,300 line item that you'll probably say, oh, all right, just let the other stuff go. But all they really did was do $3 of work and let you beat them up over it. And they're going to get you on every other line item that's equally inflated. You know what this reminds me of? Back in high school, when I debated on the high school debate team, we had a term, and it wasn't a technical term, but everyone used it. It was called a time suck. When you're debating someone and you have a weak argument, you throw it all out there, just absolutely anything you could think of so that the other team would have to waste time addressing it, even if your arguments were absolutely stupid. The whole point was just to waste their time, suck the life and energy out of their arguments. That's exactly what VIN etching is at the car dealership. It's a red herring, a distraction. They want you arguing over this ridiculous $1,200 charge, so you're not focused on beating them down on the actual price of the car or getting it under invoice or negotiating the stuff that really matters to you. Seatbelts, keys, floor mats, glass. And it works because after you've gone back and forth with them 3 or 4 times over these nickel and dime stuff, you just want the deal done. You're exhausted. You're ready to sign everything. You're a liar, Mr. Gustafson. You're a fucking lawyer. Oh, I love that scene from Fargo. That's what they want. They want to wear you down until you give up. And here's the truly infuriating part of the whole thing. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission, knows about this. In fact, they finalized something called the CARS rule, Combating Auto Retail Scams rule, back in late 2023, which was designed to crack down on exactly these kinds of deceptive practices, including misleading fees and unauthorized add-ons like VIN etching. The rule was supposed to go into effect in July 2024, and it would have saved consumers an estimated $3.4 billion and 72 million hours per year. Let that sink in, billion. But you know what happened? the National Automobile Dealers Association sued, and in January 2025, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals vacated the rule on procedural grounds before it could even take effect. So right now, dealerships can continue with these practices, and they will because they can. Look, I want to be clear about something. VIN etching isn't entirely useless. Some insurance companies like Allstate will give you a small discount on your comprehensive coverage if you have VIN etching. So maybe we're talking about a few to 5% off. So if you're paying, let's say, a couple $100 a year for comprehensive coverage, you might save a couple bucks. But here's the math. If the dealer charges you $1,200 for VIN etching and you save $20 a year on insurance, it would take you about 50 years to break even. I hope the car lasts that long. Spoiler alert, it won't. So here's my advice to you. If you're buying a car and you see a VIN etching charge on your paperwork, do not accept it. Ask them to remove it. Tell them it's optional because it absolutely is, despite whatever they tell you. And if they say, hey, sorry, we did it already, it's mandatory, we can't remove it, you need to know that's a lie. VIN etching is never mandatory. The FTC made it explicitly clear. If they claim the automaker requires it, that's a lie. If they won't budge, walk away. Seriously, go to another dealership, because any dealership that's going to charge you over 1,000% markup on a 3-minute service is going to screw you in other ways too. And if you actually want VIN etching, maybe you live in a high crime area or drive a high value vehicle or just want that small insurance discount, do it yourself. Buy the kit on Amazon, watch a YouTube video. It'll take you 10 minutes. In fact, maybe I'll make a YouTube video showing you how to do it. But the bigger picture here is this is why people hate buying cars. This is why people hate going to dealerships. No matter how nice the salesman is, no matter how easy they try to make the process seem, you know they're going to try to get you on all these hidden fees and add-ons. And VIN etching is just one of them. Trust me, there are others. Actually, when the guy asked me what my career was, I said, I create financial videos that try to help people save money and avoid scams. And apparently, he didn't give a rip, because about 10 minutes after that, I was being told I had to pay for VIN etching. It's a racket, and it's designed to make you feel like you've won the negotiation, when really, they just convinced you to pay for something else that was also worthless. Don't fall for it. I'll see you later.